Okay, let's try this again!
Alright.
And welcome to the first episode of STS. I think I might have told Stacy this, but I'm not going to actually tell anybody what STS stands for. I'm going to get the guests to tell me what they think it stands for. I've dropped this on you first thing, so I'll let you have till the end of the episode to try and work it out. It does have a meaning, but it's rather like the concept of the show. It's going to be given meaning by the different types of guests I have on. So, I don't know.
Interesting concept.
I don't know.
I'm terrified.
We'll see how it goes. the basic...
I'm open to suggestion. I'll take it as it is.
The basic idea of this show is to get a bunch of random people in a thing together, give them a direction by putting a theme or topic in the mix, and just seeing where they take it.
That sounds really cool.
It's my last idea for an internet content thing kind of collapsed because I tried to make it a bit too complicated, so I'm going simple this time.
Simple is good.
Simple is
Keep it simple.
good. Yeah. So, I thought...
So all the strangers are assembled.
All the strangers are assembled, so I figured we'd start off with a bit of a current event sort of session before we move into the main theme. Anybody have anything interesting happen in the world or regional or whatever that they would like to talk about? I've got one or two things on the side, but I don't want to steal anybody else's thunder, so just in case they happen to have something similar.
Well, the thing that's, in terms of news and things here in Australia that was most amusing, I think, was the funeral of Gough Whitlam, which in itself is not an amusing thing. And but a actress whose name won't come to me at this point sat and gave a talk and spoke about all the things that Gough Whitlam, who was a former prime minister who brought in a whole bunch of amazing changes to Australia, like our socialized medicine system and things like that. Sitting in the front row was the current Prime Minister of Australia, who wants to basically dismantle all of those things. And without pointing any fingers at him, she basically said how amazing all of this was for her as a woman and as an actress. And, some people said, that he was shamed by it, but because he's a complete sociopath, you can't shame him, but it was still beautifully done. So that was my kind of news highlight of the week.
I'm going to disappear from the window for a second. Keep talking. I'll keep the headphones in. There's just something off camera I want to grab.
Okay.
So what I've gathered here is you've managed to elect a sociopath, which it's a common problem.
Yeah.
Given democracies.
Yeah.
So how is that working out for you?
Can't really tell the difference. The last two spent most of the time stabbing each other in the back.
Yeah, that's the one. How is it working out for us? If you're a major multinational corporation, it's really, really good.
Well, I happen to be a major multinational corporation.
Well, then you'd be just happy as a pig in shit. But it's a really interesting political policy that they've brought in, which is basically fix the economy by punishing everyone who's on a lower socioeconomic sort of level. Punish the poor, punish single mothers, punish the sick, and punish the old, and the frail and halt.
So you guys are American now.
Well, actually, that's really funny because one of the things they want to do is one of the things that Gough Whitlam brought in, the dearly departed, was free university education for anybody who wanted it. And what the current Tony Abbott wants, or Tones, as he's known to his friends, wanted to do is basically dismantle that system and make it just like America, because that's working out so well for an entire generation.
Oh, yeah. It's been working out great.
Yeah.
If I can, sorry.
I mean, I got mine. How you doing?
If I can sidetrack, Mitchell, you're from the US, yes? I am. You've just had some sort of election over there.
Oh my goodness, that's the current events on the American side of things. Oh, actually, pretty boring because that's pretty much that's pretty much what we've been doing lately. I'm sorry. Can we really quick? Can we do some introductions? I think we have
Oh, of course.
Stacy.
Sorry, I really should have done that.
Yes.
Stacy's.
I'm Mitch, and who's the other stranger?
Yeah, the guy in the bright shirt I'm Keith, and I'm from
Keith,
Perth
okay.
in Australia, but I'm an American who lives in Perth, just to confuse shit.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness, you're
I'm-
all Yanks.
Yes. I'm an American that lives in the United Kingdom.
Oh,
So-
cool.
How did you find these people? Thanks.
I put
You all
a
found
thing
us on an expat network.
Oh dear God!
Yeah.
I stopped moving. I've put a thing in Reddit, and people answered. That's it. And
Well,
I
that's-
had like.
I wasn't on Reddit. I was the only one not on Reddit. Just want to put that one out there.
Oh, where did you find it?
I found it on The Escapist.
Oh, you
I was the
found
only one
it
who applied
before
for
I
The
deleted it.
Escapist.
Ah.
Yes.
Because I got one.
Yes.
My first comment from that I got was, "This is in violation of policy. You might get in a bit of trouble for having this up there." So as soon as
Yes,
I read that
it's-
one, I said, "Oops, sorry," and took off. I'm glad I got something
Yes,
from
and
that.
I read that. Yes, I was like, oh, I want to do this. Sure, why not? So
And it's in violation of policy,
Well,
so it's an even better.
I don't know the policy.
yes, I like breaking rules,
Um,
I heard that in
why-
your voice.
and
Well,
that's
as a-
why I moved to the United Kingdom.
if I can bring us back to Gough Whitlam again, I'm pointing up to your screen keeps moving. I'm pointing up to. I don't know if I can enlarge my screen, but have any of you, well, actually you're all Americans, probably none of you, ever heard of a guy called Pickering? He's a political cartoonist.
I've heard the name.
For the
I
name,
don't know if
yeah.
I'm familiar with his work.
Yeah, I got his book back when I was like early teens, mid-teens at a garage sale. And pretty much everything I know about that era politics comes from this book.
All right.
Because, I didn't really know much about politics at the age of 10, 12, whatever I was.
Well, if you have a giant book of political cartoons, you probably know more about politics than most 10-year-olds.
I know that the cartoonists like to draw Gough Whitlam as a kind of a hybrid chicken man sort of thing.
Well, you at least knew all the issues.
Yeah, but one thing I didn't realize until I hadn't actually read it all the way through is that about midway through the book, I hadn't got up to this point when I took it to school with me one day and showed it to my friends, and of course, it's the first thing they turn to. There is a section where he's basically sketched all these political figures in the nude.
Excellent.
So, of course, I copped a bunch of crap from my mates about that one.
Oh my goodness. Stacy, are you okay?
Yes,
I think she's
sorry.
being dragged away.
No. It was thank God.
Just I'm in our extra bedroom, and there's no actual furniture in here, just the wireless connection. So
Yeah, you're the only one without video, so I thought, oh man, somebody just threw a big black bag over her head and is taking her away.
The rustling.
I'm the only one without video.
Should
I didn't
you-
I don't
know that.
I can't see your video.
I just
No,
saw
I
a
don't
still
have any
image
video for it either.
going like this.
Actually, I can't see video for anyone. So
Oh no, I
Uh-oh.
just froze again.
You might be dealing with an old version of Skype.
Yeah,
I have Linux.
Cool. Well, we have another commonality
The
here
old version of
besides
Skype
being the
is
three
Linux
Yanks.
version
We
of
have
Skype.
two Linux users.
And I know diddly about Linux. That's the one that's a penguin. Yes, they got the penguin as a
Yes.
mascot.
I have the
Yes.
penguin.
I know that much. I had a mate who used to know a lot about this sort of stuff. His computer was one. I understand it's how cross-platform things tend to use it as a sort of middle ground, but that's some of my knowledge.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I just don't like Windows.
Woohoo!
Anyway, my pre-prepped current affair article actually comes from Monday, Monday's Melbourne newspaper. Not the horsey picture, because we just had the Melbourne Cup. Oh yes, being Australian, I should probably mention we've just had the big horse race. Okay, and that's all I got to say on it.
Hold on, what was that?
Every year we have this big...
You dropped out there.
Every year we have this big horse race called the Melbourne Cup.
Ah, okay.
That's about it. It's supposed to be the day that stops the nation, but very few people seem to have cared this year, which I'm probably going to cop clap for.
Hey, we have 3 of those in the States.
Fair enough. But the thing caught my eye was ban Colt's toxic cure on the side of the thing. Now, I'm going to love it if this is a religious group and I'm accidentally annoying them, because the word cult has me a bit worried. But apparently there's this product called the MMS, or Miracle Mineral Solution, which, according to the people who sell it, can be used to treat pretty much anything from HIV, AIDS to Ebola. According to the scientists and doctors in that, it's pretty much bleach and should only be used for cleaning the house.
I'm wondering if their corporate structure is a little bit bottom heavy.
I did a little bit of looking around on the internet. They've got themselves set up as and I didn't know this was a thing before I read this, non-religious church. The guy who's selling it is the Archbishop of the church, Jim Humble.
How do you manage that?
I don't know.
What does the paperwork look like to file your business or organization as a non-religious church, but still name yourself a bishop?
Archbishop.
Archbishop.
You can become a bishop
there's a
if
big difference.
You get the DVD set. You sit through, you go through the training, and you'll be a bishop at the end of it. I looked it up on the website.
I might have to do it just so I can get the plaque and put it on my wall here.
Archbishop.
Yeah, technically, I'm an ordained minister because I sat through a website tutorial, and I got the licensing for it. It cost me like $10.
Oh god.
Oh,
yeah,
so
I'm feeling very insignificant.
You've actually done it.
I've done something for a different church, yeah, just because it was online and I could do it. It was $10.
Can you?
And I thought it'd be a good laugh. I can if I license myself through the state.
Cool.
That's
well, I could in the U.S. I can't in the U.K.
Bummer.
I don't think they'd accept that here.
Well, over in the UK, you guys have actually a flourishing Jedi church. So you could probably
really?
You could probably the UK.
Apparently,
the UK
on the census, what was it? The large number of people put Jedi as your religion.
Oh my god!
In the UK,
has
a huge Jedi church.
I only know this because it's on the Bill Bailey stand-up show.
See, I haven't been here that long. I find out more and more.
As a consumer of a lot of podcasts.
One of my many attributes is being able to see the future. And I'm pretty sure that I'm getting a really clear picture of what you're going to be doing tomorrow.
Sending out for some literature?
Yeah, for some literature.
I'd like to subscribe to your newsletter.
Since I'm already an ordained minister.
So this non-church church is selling bleach as a panacea.
Well, according to their website, it's not actually bleach. According to the doctors who want it banned, it is. And according to them,
literally,
it has hospitalized 4 people, 4 reported cases, and they believe that it is underreported.
I imagine if someone buys Miracle Cure and they drink the Miracle Cure and suddenly become very ill immediately after becoming very poor,
but
I feel like I want to hide it too.
The illness...
I've been had!
On the website, it actually says you take increasing dosages until you start to feel sick, then you scale it back down then until you stop feeling sick. And you take that dose until you feel better, and you go for another couple of hours, then you up the dose again. And it just repeats.
Oh.
It's a balancing act according to the website.
It's a balancing act where the fulcrum is all of your intestinal flora and fauna.
Pretty much. It's supposed to
Everything
replicate
inside of you
the
will die.
acids that your immune system uses naturally to attack diseases. He claims it can cure cancers.
Okay, yeah. That needs to be a big red flag for people. I don't know why that's...
Yeah.
Desperate people will believe desperate things.
Yes, they will,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
that's true.
The problem also that I find with all of these things is that the medical establishment has such little credibility anymore. You know, I mean, what someone says is, oh, it's the classic, doctors hate him. And so when they say this is terrible, some people's first response is, well, of course they would say that.
It's making them look bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to go follow this guy who has one neat trick.
Yeah, exactly.
I got one trick. I'm a trained hypnotherapist.
Really?
Yeah. Never did anything
I'm
with
going to
it.
go ahead.
Did the
I'm
training.
going to go ahead and turn your video off now.
Aww. But I haven't even pulled out the pendulum yet.
If I see a pocket watch produced, I am out of here.
We did learn pendulum,
Right
but
back to
not in
bed
the
for
sense
me.
of, ooh, you're getting sleepy. As in the sense of, okay, now if it swings left and right, the answer's yes. If it swings backwards and forwards, the answer's no. And they actually didn't bother going into karmic energies or anything bullshit like that. It's just itsy-bitsy micro muscle movements. And the subconscious remembers shit you don't. So if the subconscious knows, even if you don't, that the answer's no, the pendulum will, apparently on its own, start swinging in a certain direction. So, yeah, they didn't go into any of the really airy-fairy sort of crap in it, so... But it was...
How much bleach water did you have to sell before they gave you the tutorial?
Almost. Not
I just had to pay, a couple $100 to sign up.
Oh, we have a new stranger in the room.
This is Mango.
Nice to meet you,
The
Mango.
subject of new beginnings. She adopted us about a year ago. She showed up in our front yard and then slowly moved her way further in. I'm sure everybody's enjoying looking at the
cat's ass,
yes. And then started hanging out on the front veranda. And then my wife was opening the door and she would run through her legs and moved into the house. And then finally, there was one, the first rainstorm back in April. She is sitting outside looking very bedraggled and soaking wet. And my wife brought her inside and she has not left.
The cat knows where it's at.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because the next door neighbor has about 6 cats. So that was obviously not the place to...
That might have been the source.
I suspect so. And then she sits up on the table on the front veranda and the other cats come around and just sort of hang out. And she just stares down at them and says, "No, this is my veranda and you are not coming in." Yes.
You got a good thing. You gotta protect it.
Yeah. Her mother didn't raise too many fools. So yeah.
So is that what we're doing? Is that we're talking about beginnings?
Anything you think you can even remotely link. I mean, okay, here's one for you. Now, nobody has to answer any questions that they don't feel comfortable with, has to discuss any topics, except their own. So if I ask something incredibly offensive, none of you guys have to answer it, but I do. So, okay? I don't intend to ask anything offensive, it's just a general rule of thumb for future episodes.
Mentally preparing myself to be offended.
Everything begins with a first
Prime of the pump.
time. What is the biggest first thing you've done, like the first time you've done this thing, anything, in the last 12 months? What's the biggest new thing you've tried?
I moved to the UK.
That is pretty huge.
Yeah, we, my husband's well, I got married right outside that 12-month period. And we'd just been married a little over a year. And He had just gotten his PhD, and he got a job with the university here in town as a researcher. And we ended up moving here the end of May. And so we've been here since the end of May. And I'm from a small town in Indiana. And Indiana, if you don't know, is not known as the Europe of America. So it's kind of known as the
Now, be nice to the Midwest. Be nice to the Midwest.
I said it's the butthole of the Midwest.
I'm 40 minutes outside of Detroit. You cannot claim that.
I said all of Indiana. All of Indiana.
I mean, we got Flint, too.
Well, yeah, you guys do have Flint. Fine, then. We're the...
Well, I grew up in New Jersey.
We're the taint of the Midwest.
That's what I'm worried about. If you are the rectum, what does that make me?
Well, Michigan's got a lot of really nice... Michigan's got a lot of really nice...
or something.
I will be.
No, because you guys, Detroit, I'm assuming, would be the hemorrhoid of the Midwest, and Flint would be the.
To any Detroit viewers.
Flint would be the gunshot wound.
Flint would be the gunshot
wound.
Exactly. But no. So it was really weird to move here, and actually, I'm really enjoying it. So. That was probably the biggest thing I've ever done. Plus, I had to get on a plane, and I hate planes. God, I hate planes.
Well, now you're there. You'll never have to get on another plane again.
Yeah, because I never have to see my family ever again. Ever.
Yeah, that's
why them come to you.
Skype.
Yeah, that's why there's Skype. Actually, my mother-in-law's already showed up once. And she's going to be showing up again in March. And my father should be showing up next July. So hopefully we never do have to go back to the States. I'm kidding, because I'm sure they're going to be listening possibly. And they have a big family thing next year that they're going to want us to come to. So we will be showing up for that. Just kidding, guys.
Well, you have plenty of time.
Yeah.
You have plenty of time to get over your fear.
Yeah. I'm not coming.
What got a beginning that happened in the last 12 months? In February of this year, I started studying accounting. And
I'm
became
sorry.
And you know what's really weird is I'm really enjoying it, which is even, if 3 years ago you said, why don't you go become an accountant? I probably would have smacked you, or at least just thought you were an idiot and wandered out of the room. But here I am, an accounting student. It's a hoot.
I did a semester of that when I first got out of high school. University was
a semester of accounting? Man, you went to the wrong universities.
Well, technically I went to a little branch off university. It's in a little town about 20 minutes north of where I am. It wasn't a big city one. So I was pretty much just commuting from home and showing up for the courses and oh well.
Yeah. The community college experience is definitely a little different than your standard university one.
Yeah. The big difference when you're 50.
I suppose not. You're not living the standard college student lifestyle.
No, I did that when I was 18, and one of the reasons why I dropped out was because I was so much more interested in drinking than studying. So, that didn't work out so well for me. It took me another 30 years to get back to school again, and it's a lot more fun at 50 than it was at 18. I sit in the front row of the class, and I'm like a vacuum cleaner, just sucking up any bit of information I can get out of my teachers, and ask a ton of questions, and generally drive them nuts.
You're right. You feel
I was like that in college the first time.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Oh God, I was a nerd.
There's something to be said about getting it out of the way early. So what are you going to be like when you're 50?
A bigger nerd?
Yeah, there you go. The paragon of nerds. You're still moving on my screen, Vex.
Oh, I'm not. Oh no, I've just started moving again. Okay, cool. So if you see me do this, it probably means I think I've stopped moving and I'm testing the camera. I'm not going goal or anything like that. No. God.
I don't see anybody, which is funny because.
Well, we don't see you.
Actually, oh, okay. Well, that's good.
We just see a giant thumbnail of you that blinks whenever you talk.
You've got a little orange triangle at the bottom of your thumbnail in my picture. Does she have it in yours?
It's a little red circle in mine, but I expect the meaning is the same.
I suspect that is, something has gone amiss.
It actually put up a little dialogue box when I first started that said someone's version is out of date. What you'll have to do is uninstall Skype and reinstall it, and it should reinstall. But don't do that now, because then we'll get all sad and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna do that now.
Poop. I just went into. Give me a second. I just
play the technical difficulties music.
I clicked out of the window and got into just general Skype instead of. Okay, I'm back. Okay.
We never lost you when you said you clicked out of the window. So you could actually go off and...
Your window isn't the one that's being recorded.
Yes,
Uh-oh.
I see. That's a problem.
God, after all that, my first is actually really god-awfully embarrassing. Before we start the story, I did not go through with it. But I kind of went to a nude beach. I got down to the beach, I got my shirt off, and then I chickened the hell out. I ended up sitting down in the sand for about 10 minutes in my jeans, trying to build up the courage to, go all the way, and then I fled back to my car. So, yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, I can't imagine you're the only one.
After all this stuff about universities and moving across country, I now feel my story's kind of rubbish.
Hey, my first was starting a podcast, so...
Oh, you have your own
podcast. You want to pod? Yeah. Well, I found you on the Reddit podcasting board.
Well, I figured that was why I'd post a thing asking for people who wanted to be on podcasts.
Well, you found one that already was.
Hey! Actually, I found another one as well, but he had a conflict of scheduling.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that with Americans.
He was actually, I think, Canadian. Of course.
Time difference is much the same.
The way my thing, yeah, he already knew what the time was before, but I don't know. I have no idea. I'd probably give him a shout out to Young Savage's show. I haven't actually got around to watching your podcast yet. I wanted to ask him about it on the show itself, but I'll give him a shout out anyway. So what's your podcast called?
Mine is the Lost Hours podcast. It's a little comedy show that I do with a buddy of mine that we try to run like an AM drive time type thing. A lot of weird news stories.
Oh, you mentioned this in the text. Oh God, yes, I forgot.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, we do weird news from around the world and to talk about the interesting things that happen to us. Trying to break into the saturated podcast network that way.
Cool.
Did you put a post up on Reddit also looking for yes? Because I replied to somebody else, and I was wondering if we were having another one of those small world time things.
No, I don't think I did.
All right.
No, we haven't had any guests yet. We're talking about beginnings. Working out the chemistry of two guests, along with audio issues, and trying to build content and build an audience and build a framework for web content has been a bit of an adventure. That's all stuff I've had to learn. this year. How to tell stories that people identify with. How to explain those stories in almost zero time. How to put those on the most on the paths most well worn in the social media, scape. And then how to just buck up and move past it when no one listens.
Yeah. I've got an entire third section that's not going to happen unless I get people who actually listen to this. Because I was going to have a third question for top comments from last week's YouTube videos. But until I actually get people watching the YouTube videos. Top civil comments or questions or queries. Not like, oh, you're fat, get off the internet. I'm not going to answer any of those. that goes without saying, but
I don't know how many YouTube comments you read, but you might not get any.
No, like I said, the YouTube I'm going to be posting this video too, originally. If I get people who actually watch it, I'll look into setting up a proper site. Is it an RSS feed to iTunes, that kind of rubbish?
Right.
Yeah, I'll look into doing all that, but only if I actually get some people who actually want to listen to the show.
Here's the thing: you're probably not going to get any listeners without an iTunes feed.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about that.
It's not difficult really to set up an iTunes feed. The problem is that most people that when they decide, okay, I'm going to be the type of person that listens to podcasts, the first place they go is iTunes, generally, and it's the sort of advanced podcast listener that seeks out feeds beyond that.
So I'm assuming that you guys all listen to other podcasts.
Yes.
How did you find your first podcast?
I was talking about Star Wars with the guy that is my current co-host, and he said, you need to listen to this Star Wars podcast. So it's a lot of word of mouth. Most of our listeners have been word of mouth.
Cool.
People saying, "Oh, these guys are funny. You should listen to these guys."
Nice.
Shout out to Rebel Force Radio.
I learned all of my podcasts from the podcasting subreddit. So I don't know where it started, where I heard the first one from. There must have been, because I heard enough about it to go to discover that there was a podcasting subreddit. So I don't know where I discovered it.
So do you have a show as well, Keith?
No, actually, I thought about setting up. I've got this friend that I get together with, or we've both been too busy lately, but I was for a while. We'd get together, one evening every couple of months and do what he referred to as talking crap. And just have this kind of insanely ridiculous circular conversation. And his wife actually said to him at one point, I think you need to ring Keith, because he would get to a certain point and he would need that kind of release of his madness. And we'd have a conversation over a couple of beers. So when I heard about podcasting, I actually thought I should ring up Steven and we should get together and do a podcast, because we do this talking crap so well. And somebody else must be, mentally impaired sufficiently that they would find this funny. And then I thought, I don't have the time. And then I started hearing about that you can't just, turn on the recorder and send it off. There's actually even more time to it. And I thought, I don't have any extra time for that. So I'll just be guests on other people's podcasts, because I'm really good at talking crap and telling stories. So
depending on your input, you're looking at about 2 to 3 hours of editing and processing and uploading per hour of recording.
Yeah.
So it can stack up quickly, and it depends on the audio quality you're going for.
That sounds about right in my estimates of the impossibility of this. So I actually was on the Young Savages show last Sunday. I talked crap with them for an hour, and I never listened to the episode, but it was fun.
All right.
What is the show about?
It's a couple of young guys talking crap.
You told me
And kind
they
of
collect
Is that the
stories.
tagline?
No, that's my tagline. Yeah. So it was funny, it's two, I think they're in high school. They're either high school or, young college guys living outside of Toronto. And then, me, the 50-year-old from Australia. So, but I've always gotten
Well,
along
from
well with
America,
them.
from Australia.
What's that?
From America, from Australia.
Yeah, that's the one. Just to confuse things.
What about you, Stacy? You've been pretty quiet there.
Oh yeah, I don't listen to podcasts.
Ah, cool.
And
Yes, me on them.
the yeah, evidently
I can suggest several.
This is my first one, and part of the reason why I did it was well, partially it was because I have a blog, and I thought I should branch out some. And the other part was I'm in the process of making a gaming website, my own gaming website, breaking off from The Escapist.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people want to do podcasts. Well, I don't know anything about podcasts because I am evidently older than dirt. And so I thought, well, I guess I should find out more about it. And I was actually looking to find out more about it when I saw your does anyone want to be on my podcast? I was thinking, well, this seems like a good idea to just try it out. And
If you have any questions,
yeah.
just let me know. A 30-episode veteran here.
Cool.
38.
Mitchell?
So I was like, let's try this out. Yeah, that's all.
Mitchell, can you send me a link through Skype to your podcast? I'll put you in my descriptor.
Fantastic.
My story actually does stem from The Escapist. I have been watching ever since a mate put me onto it, zero punctuation on there. And once in the message section, I saw a thing saying, "Holy crap, Yahtzee is going to review Final Fantasy 13. He said it here." I clicked the link, and it took me to a podcast that I freaking love, recorded by a bunch of guys sitting in their lounge room in Brisbane. They pretty much just do what you said. They just talk shit for like anywhere from an hour to 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours?
They just sort of kept going until holy crap is at the time.
Yeah. That's a long time.
Well, it was a rare occurrence. A very rare occurrence. But thing is, listening to their podcast, it kind of put me in the situation that I usually end up in most social situations. I'll find a quiet corner or a couch somewhere, and I'll just sit and grin as the shit flies through the air over my head. And that was pretty much the exact same location that the recording device was in for their podcast, so I felt very much at home listening to them. And they just actually took a 4-year hiatus when one of them left due to medical reasons, and they've come back with a couple of new hosts, and I'm quite enjoying listening to them again. They actually helped me out
Plug the show.
Oh yeah, the Overindulgence podcast.
The Overindulgence podcast.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
They actually helped me out with the last thing I tried to do. I said this was not my first attempt at making web content. I tried to do a sort of a board game kind of thing. The idea was I'd arrange to meet people over the internet in like Canberra or Melbourne or anywhere actually within driving range for me. And I'd just record us playing a game. And then I emailed them asking if they'd be on my pilot episode, and they said yes. And then I got back from Brisbane, I watched the pilot episode, and I realized I do not have half the equipment I need to do this properly. So
yeah, it sounds like a few camera show.
Yeah, you need at least two. One for your people, one for the board, and a separate audio recording device on the table. Because I was using a GoPro.
That's going to be hard to watch.
Oh, the watching wasn't the issue. It's just I was really loud, and you could barely hear anybody else. And
it just sounds like shaky cam.
And I was looking up here when I should have been down here for the most part, because I had the angle wrong. But it was a great time, and they were great helping out a complete stranger start his own thing, which didn't end up. Yeah. So yeah. Okay.
Well, you learn a lot from those small beginnings.
Speaking of learning, Stacy, you promised us a bit
Yes.
of education tonight.
Well, yeah, I was a history major.
Ah,
So all of my beginnings have to do with history.
cool.
Because most of my stuff was, my beginnings was, I asked you what kind of beginnings were you talking about? And,
Anything you can think to link.
well, I thought it'd be interesting to find out what everybody would do if you were suddenly dropped into the plague in the middle of England. And just to give you kind of a background of what you're looking at, we're talking about in the middle of summer for everybody. And you're looking at anywhere from, let's say you are in York. For most of you guys who are in York, who've never been to England, it's a fairly decent-sized town because most of you are Yanks. It's about the size... Actually, I have no idea what the size is. Okay, we're going to be in Sheffield because that's actually where I am. So it's the size of, let's say, Michigan. It's the size of... It's not the size of Detroit, that's for sure. It's not the size of Flint. Okay, I don't know much about Michigan either.
Bigger, smaller?
It's smaller than Michigan. Or not smaller than Michigan, smaller than Detroit. I'm trying to think. It's like a small college town.
Okay.
It's a decent sized town though. So, about 100,000 people. There you go.
So what would we do? Like, do we have any equipment in this instance?
Is it
No,
us
you
as
just
we
live
are
there.
now, or us as we would have been back then?
As you would have been, you're looking at the death rate of about 200 to 500 per day. You've got panic in the streets. You've got people coughing up blood. You've got people trying to leave town. And there you go. And no one knows what's going on. No one knows why they're dying. I don't know if you guys know what causes plague. But if you don't, I'll explain it to you afterwards.
I know.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I would die almost immediately. Being what the disease is, I would probably be clinging tightly to either loved ones or beloved pets, which would almost guaranteed be carrying flea populations. So yeah, I'm gonna be on the pile of bodies on the rack, while the old lady yells, "Bring out your dad!" Like within days, I think.
I think I might be the old lady. I have no shame as to my working circumstances. I don't mind hauling around corpses. Which of course means I'd probably get the fleas from the corpses and in short term follow. Would the fleas stay with the corpses beyond the point of death?
No.
I might be pretty safe.
They'd be there as long as it took them to escape. So
Yeah,
they'd be in the
it would
clothes
take-
and
So yeah, I'd be screwed.
Yeah, it wouldn't be very long. It would be maybe an hour or two, a couple hours. They usually look for the next warmest thing. So if there's a warm thing near it, you're dead.
Well, a pile of bodies would sort of generate heat like a compost heap, wouldn't they?
Technically, yeah, it would. So if you got a nice
Yeah.
pile of bodies, you're doing pretty good.
and then when you're hauling the nice pile of bodies, you are the next warmest thing.
Yeah. Although for prosperity's sake, most of the gravediggers didn't really get the plague.
Really?
So yeah, they tended to stay fairly healthy.
Yeah, but I'd probably sell the corpses to the medical students.
The medical students are all dead too.
Which was illegal. Which is nice to know that you would just be trying to make money.
Of course. Hey, these people are already dead. You know, they're not going to notice anything.
Tune into STS where you'll hear Vex say...
Yeah,
these people are already
I'm regretting
dead.
that one.
To get to. Unfortunately, I double booked myself this evening because I forgot that I had a meeting to get to.
I forgot to watch the clock, sorry.
That's not your job, that's my job.
You were meant to be out of here 3 minutes ago, weren't you?
Yeah. But the stories of plagues were so riveting that I had to stay for that. I'm going to scoot though, but I'm only where I've got to go is only 5 minutes away, so I'll be all right. I don't think I'll leave the feed on Cat because she's pretty boring. And I'll,
this is going on the internet.
Mangoes. Was it mangoes?
Mango, singular.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. Say hello.
We enjoyed watching you clean yourself.
And
also, we enjoyed the cat.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm not
sharing.
proud of that one.
Yeah. If any of you get, you have my email address, don't you, Bex? If you want to pass that on to these guys, and when you get if you're interested in guests again, then send me an email, and I'm because I actually enjoy this strangely enough, and yes, be happy to do it again.
Cool. And at least you got a decent time zone for it. I mean, was it 4 a.m. over there?
It is. It was 3:45 when I got up. It is now 4:50.
Right.
Yeah, I really did not think time zones very clearly. Sorry.
If you call me back, let's do it at the same time, at least on Saturday, so that I don't have a full day of work ahead of me.
I pretty much picked this time because it was the most stable point in my work schedule. It's an hour after my final shift of the week. So I'm done. But I will, if I end up going with a more regular cast, I will end up setting up a more convenient time for the cast.
Oh,
okay.
Ouch.
I'll talk to you again
Ouch.
soon.
Or if most
Good
of my
night,
cast
all.
members... See ya!
Good talking to you, Keith.
Yeah.
Bye.
Or if more of my cast members end up being American, I might end up just rescheduling it anyway.
Well, Americans all in different places.
Okay. Mainland American.
Mainland American. So what? You're anti
No, I'm not
Australia and Hawaii.
Australia's not America. We have
No, I'm sorry.
Americans.
Alaska.
Oh, okay, that's a bit better.
Australia is almost America. Come on. We just haven't found
We
oil there
haven't
yet.
adopted Halloween yet. I really want us to adopt Halloween. Australia is a hodgepodge of borrowed cultures.
That's why we get along so well.
Borrow the fun ones, you know.
You also need to adopt our stance on the guns. Super fun.
Oh yeah.
Mates who have
I'm
no
saying-
problem
Yeah.
in their guns. They're out in the farm. They got their shotties. They go out. They hunt some roos. I don't know how
See,
easy
that's-
it's for the general man to get the guns, but
As someone who has checked, I looked into a couple of schools in Australia. It's not easy. Almost ridiculously difficult.
oh well.
Anyway, are you wrapping us up, Bex?
I suppose that, given that we've lost the host, if you two want to wrap it up, we may as well wrap it up. I think tonight went very well. I at least had a few laughs, and that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, it's been a good time.
Oh, poor Mitch, we didn't get to any of your beginnings.
The only interesting beginning I've had has been the podcast. Oh, and I guess I started working with my church's youth group in the last year, so that's been fun.
Oh, cool.
But I mean, I don't know how interesting that is for podcasting.
Have
know?
they done anything embarrassing?
You know, if they had, I don't know if I'd be able to
comfortable
talk about it on a
talking about
podcast.
it, no.
Because I feel like, you would get like one listener and it would be one of the children's parents. With my luck, that's what would happen.
I'm in another country. I'm safe. Probably not. But well, thank you very much. I will trim off the beginning and maybe no, I'll keep up to at least up to the proper sign off. And I will try and have this posted up by YouTube. God knows however long it takes for the upload to go through. I'll give it a rewatch, scribble down anything I can think for obvious tags, and check. Like I say, by this point, we're probably going to look like a badly dubbed episode of Monkey Magic.
I have no idea what that is.
You don't know Monkey Magic?
No.
Oh. It was magic. I was never allowed to watch it. My parents thought it was too violent, but basically it was a thing from, I want to say China, that was brought over and redubbed into English. It was live action.
Oh, like a Power Rangers type thing.
Did you ever watch Kung Pao Enter the Fist?
No.
Yes.
That was the sort of thing they were going for, but that doesn't really help. You see, with Power Rangers, you can't see the lip movements don't match the words.
Oh, okay. That's kind of cheating.
If you were seeing like a bad Godzilla,
I did not realize the Yellow Ranger was a dude. In the original. In the original, not in the Americanized. In the Americanized, they had her American actor as a female. But I just saw a thing online the other day about how they're bringing over the original series, and apparently Yellow was a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Which explains why he wasn't wearing a miniskirt when the pink one was.
You're destroying all my childhood television, Vex. I'm gonna have to let you go before you burn anything else down.
Bye bye.
Thanks for having me on.
I'm glad to hear you laughing at least. See ya.
Bye.
Thanks for the heads up on that warning on the escapist thing, Stacy.
Oh, I'm not the one that warned you.
Weren't you? Oh.
No, I was just some random person that messaged you.
Well, thanks for messaging me anyway.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh, hey, I will. Ooh, when I put the YouTube thing up, since you didn't find me on Reddit, I'll send you a link to it on the.
All right.
Since you weren't able to check my Reddit feed, like the other two gentlemen.
Yes, I will. I don't usually get on Reddit, so.
No. Me neither. This is like my third post.
Yeah,
help me find.
I was also going to offer my blog. Well, can you hear me?
I can hear you. You just suddenly stopped all of a sudden, and I thought I'd lost you, but then you went on again. So
okay.
I hadn't.
My blog isn't incredibly popular, but it's somewhat steady. Mm-hmm. I usually get anywhere from 10 to 30 views a day. So if you'd like, I can go ahead and put a link to your podcast on my blog.
Honored.
Yeah,
and I'll put a link to your blog in my podcast.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You can find Stacy at.
Yes, that would be nice. I'll give you a link to that.
Cool. Thank you very much for helping me out with this project.
Oh, well, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Shall I leave this bit on, or shall I cut it when the last guy's? No, I'll leave this bit on. We haven't said anything too bad.
Oh no, I can randomly start cursing if you'd like, if that'll make it more edgy.
No.
Appealing to the teenagers, to the young folks these days.
Tonight went so much better than I was worried it would. I was so scared it was going to be all awkward and just people going, so what do we say next?
So yeah, we do Thanes sometimes. Thanes, period. Thanes.
I've already got one guest lined up for next week. He's asked to see the podcast I've made so far, and I said, yeah, tonight's the pilot. But I'll link you the episode when I put it up. And as of unless something special happens, like anything major, current affairsy, or maybe it's just Christmas and I want to pick a Christmas theme or something, I'm going to let the first guest of each week pick the theme, so it can keep them flowing, keep the guests' influence in the show more.
Right.
Well, thank you very much for joining me.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, thank you again for having me.
I better get on to the editing, see how badly it's chewed up the video.
All right. Well, have a good night.
See you later.
Bye.